Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. 9:01 is the time. Welcome to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Taking a look outside from our High 5 camera downtown. Just a gorgeous start to your day. 46 degrees, not many clouds, lots of sunshine there. Same story as we look at our Midtown High 5 camera. We'll be talking about our forecast throughout the morning here on Action News 5's Digital Desk with meteorologist Patrick Ellis in just a little bit, but first let's get to some of the stories that we are following at this hour, and we begin with this news that happened right now in the Middle East. And this is breaking news from overnight from U.S. Central Command. 4 of the 6 crew members aboard an American military KC-135 refueling plane have died after the plane went down in Iraq. CENTCOM says the circumstances of the incident are under investigation, but the loss of aircraft was not due to any hostile fire or friendly fire. The identities of those killed will not be released until at least 24 hours after their families have been notified. And the Mississippi National Guard says guardsmen from the Magnolia State have deployed in order to support Operation Epic Fury in Iran. They went over in February to the U.S. Central Command area. The Guard says airmen and soldiers from the 186th Air Refueling Wing, the 172nd Airlift Wing, 220th Special Forces Battalion, and Special Operations Detachment are assisting in those operations. Heartbreaking news out of Frazier this morning as Memphis police say a teenage boy was hit and killed by a car. Officers responded here to the scene, Signal Street, Whitney Avenue, just after 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. They did not confirm the victim's age, but he is under 18 from what we understand. The investigators say the driver remains on the scene and called police for help. 1 person is dead, 2 others in the hospital following a shooting yesterday morning on the campus of Old Dominion University in Virginia. The suspected gunman was also killed. The FBI identified that gunman as 36-year-old Mohammed Jailer, who was arrested earlier this year on a terrorism charge. Investigators say the victims are Army personnel. They were just injured. This is being investigated as an act of terrorism. The founder of Wing Guru said he's pleaded no contest to charges of tax evasion and theft of property. Billy Richmond Jr. clarifying things on social media, saying Wing Guru employed certain professionals to manage their financial reporting and their sales accounts. Wing Guru has been in controversy. The company has been ordered to pay Grizzlies star John Morant over $365,000 last year for breaching a deal costing the business thousands of dollars in damage after using John Morant's likeness for free. In a written statement, Richmond said, in part, I accept responsibility and accountability for not overseeing these reports. Again, I maintain I did not intentionally or willfully misreport or falsify any documents. However, my lack of oversight makes me responsible as the owner. Tennessee Secretary, Tennessee Secretary of State. The Tennessee Secretary of State lists no qualified candidates to represent Shelby County, District 93 in Nashville in the State House of Representatives. That covers Orange Mound, Binghamton, Highland Heights, parts of Cordova. The district is represented by G.A. Hardaway, but he failed to qualify because one signature on his petition was invalid. It leaves him short of the 25 signature threshold. His press secretary says he failed to qualify due to the same issue. Representative Hardaway's legal team says they're working to appeal. With nobody else running for the seat, Representative Hardaway's appeal is the only way District 93 can have a voice in the State House of Representatives. Severe weather in Mississippi this week claimed a life and injured several others. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency reports the death and 3 injuries that happened in central Mississippi. Wednesday, Lawrence County tornado warnings were issued for Pike, Lawrence, Lincoln counties. No other deaths or injuries have been reported. The damage also was reported in Amite, Smith, and Walthall counties as well. If you love your Buc-ee's, here's something to know before your next trip. Nearly 3 dozen Buc-ee locations carry an F rating with the Better Business Bureau, including locations in Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Texas, and Tennessee. The BBB ties it back to dozens of customer complaints that weren't handled in a timely way, some dating back to last year. Company official told the BBB that Buc-ee's doesn't respond to complaints through that system. The BBB stresses its grades aren't a guarantee of business performance. A Tennessee commission is sounding the alarm on public safety, investigating more than 650 hemp retailers that may be operating illegally. The investigation started at the beginning of the year. It also is when the state began regulating hemp-derived cannabinoid products. Under the bill that passed last year, retailers can be fined, even put behind bars for selling these THC-derived products, but hundreds are doing it anyway. The State Commission planned to start seriously enforcing the ban. Retailers will face up to 11 months, 29 days in jail, and thousands of dollars in fines if they violate that rule. A new report from the Women's Foundation of Arkansas says the rising cost of child care is pushing some Arkansas mothers out of the workforce. According to a report, the cost of child care for 2 children in Arkansas averages about $17,000 a year. Researchers say the financial strain, the lack of child care availability can force some mothers to step away from the workforce altogether. The report also includes county-by-county child care cost data and recommendations for employers looking to support working parents, such as flexible working hours. Chez Philippe got a coveted AAA 5 Diamond Award given out to only the 1% of restaurants throughout North America. Only 65 restaurants made this cut. Those at the height of cuisine and masters of preparation with exceptional service as well as atmosphere. To reach such status, hotels and restaurants must pass rigorous and unannounced evaluation, such as inspectors making unannounced reservations and their findings then reviewed by a panel of experts. And speaking of the Peabody, the hotel known as the South's Grand Hotel is being recognized by Southern Living as the South's best classic hotel. The Peabody beat out some very notable hotels like the Fontainebleau in Miami Beach, the Hermitage and Hotel in Nashville, and Charleston Place in Charleston, South Carolina. The losing streak for the Memphis Grizzlies continues. It's now at 6 following last night's loss to the Dallas Mavericks at FedEx Forum, 120-112. The Grizzlies tried to keep it close, but Chris Middleton scored 22 of his season-high 35 points in the fourth quarter. Jalen Wells led the team with 23 points as the Grizzlies only played with 8 players. It gets tougher as Memphis face the Eastern Conference leader Detroit Pistons tonight on the road. Tip-off set for 6:30. We're going to take a short break here on Action News 5's Digital Desk. We're back in 60 seconds. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. The Memphis Jewish Community Center is hosting its first ever music festival. It's called Jammin' at the J. It's happening later this month. And joining me now to talk more about that festival, Jonathan McCarter. He is the Cultural Arts Director at the Memphis Jewish Community Center. So, Jonathan, tell me what inspired this music festival. Good morning.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for having us. So we are strategically placed on 24 acres out here at the Memphis Jewish Community Center, and spring's coming. We've got this beautiful weather, and so we were like, let's celebrate some Jewish musicians. Now, I want to be clear: this is not a Jewish music festival. It's not klezmer, although there's nothing wrong with a good klezmer band, but this is a celebration of Jewish musicians. We've got three solid acts, three solid lineups. We're starting with Jack Fargo, who Memphis born, grew up here at the Memphis Jewish Community Center, has since moved to LA. He's bringing his band out. They're going to really rock the show. Our middle act is a Memphis staple, Memphis Soul Remedy. You've seen them around at iconic Memphis events like Peabody rooftop parties and things like that. And then our headliner is Avi Kaplan. Avi Kaplan's a three-time Grammy winner. He was an original member of the group Pentatonics, and we're so excited that we were able to secure him and that he's coming out to headline the festival here.
That's fantastic. I love it. I mean, it's a little bit of everything for everyone there. Pentatonics, that's a big name we hear about every year too. And then Soul Remedy. I mean, you know, we're talking about Memphis music here at a Memphis festival.
Yes.
You got to have some of that in there. And then I love it that Jack Fargo as well. So tell us about Sunday, the 22nd, when it's happening, 11 to 4:30, right?
Yes. Doors open 11:30. Jack's going on at 12:30. Memphis Soul Remedy will be up at 2, and Avi's going to be up at 3:30. But in and amongst the day, while you're out, we've got some really great food that's going to be out there. We've got a kids zone. We've got some bounce houses, some face painting and activity out there. We've got a slew of good vendors. Born Bloom Jewish Community School is going to be out there with things they've created from the design lab. We've got some candle makers, some crafts, some jewelry, some art. It's going to be a whole day. It's a whole fun festival that we've put together that's going to be on, coming up. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday, March 22nd.
It sounds fantastic. So let's talk about tickets, how people can get them, and how many people do you expect to have for the festival?
Sure. We've got plenty of room. We're sitting at a good number of tickets right now, being about 10 days out from the festival. Tickets, I've seen an uptick in ticket sales, but we've still got space. We're still welcoming patrons. You can go to our website, jccmemphis.org. You can see access to tickets there, or you can call our front desk, 901-761-0810, secure tickets there. You can also get tickets day of, but buying early, it never hurts.
Exactly. No, understand that. How much are tickets?
Tickets are, well, we've got two price ranges. We've got our community price, which is $30, and membership pricing is $25. That's for 13 and up. If you are 4 to 13, then tickets are $15 and $20, and 4 and under are free. I want to be clear that all of our programming is open to the community. You don't need to be Jewish to come and see the program here. Our membership base is a wide array of Jewish and non-Jewish members, and so we always have community pricing, so that you can come out and see what our programming is all about.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. Jonathan, amazing stuff here. I can't wait for the concert. It sounds fantastic. Anything else before we let you go?
I need to be sure to thank our event sponsors, because there's no way that things like this would happen. So, as I said, the event's presented by Kalman Lazarov Wealth Management. Our other sponsors are Preparedness Consulting Service, Paragon Bank, and the Memphis Jewish Federation. I just want to say it's going to be a great time. Please come out and join us. Let me know if I can provide any additional information. And Andrew, thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you. Jonathan McCarter, jamming at the J Music Festival, March 22nd at the Memphis Jewish Community Center. It's going to be a great time. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the digital desk, and we look forward to hearing great things and more programs and activities from the Jewish Community Center. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. It's time to check in on one of the prettiest places in the entire Memphis Mid-South area. Jenna Harris is at Memphis Botanic Garden right now to talk about tulips at twilight. It sounds like an amazing event for adults, right? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're excited to bring y'all out here and see all of our beautiful tulips that are starting to bloom right now. We have a lot of things going on with our whole season of bloom. Tulips at twilight is going to be one of those. At the rate the tulips are going, it might be strings in the spring or, our tulips, Mother Nature is coming in just a little bit earlier than we expected. So right now our tulips are in full bloom. This weekend is going to be a fantastic time to be able to come out and see those. The weather's looking great for that. You can come out, see the tulips in full bloom before we get that little shot of cold weather. There'll still be tulips a little bit later in the spring. But again, we've got all of the different things that are starting to bloom. The great thing about being here in the garden is that every day it's beautiful. It might not be exactly what we expected when we expected it, but there's always something blooming and something looking fantastic out here.
It really looks amazing, Jenna. I mean, those tulips just look gorgeous. Tell us exactly where you are at the Botanic Garden.
Yeah, so this is what we're calling Tulip Terrace. This is back across from the Japanese garden near our Blecken Pavilion area. And historically, this hillside has been covered with daffodils. A lot of those are already done blooming. They come out a little bit earlier in the spring, in the late winter, early spring. And so this year, as a part of a big celebration of bloom, we've planted tulips all throughout the garden. This is one of the largest concentrations of tulips in the garden is Tulip Terrace. And for tulips at twilight, and they'll be playing beautiful string music as the sun is setting. You can purchase a meal and be able to be here out in the garden, enjoying your dinner and some cocktails while the band is playing the music back here within the.
Okay, so this is April 3rd, right? So this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock? Can you hear me, Jenna? Uh-oh, I think we lost you.
There you go.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Good. I was going to say, this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, this is going to be April 3rd. So again, our tulips might be done by that point, but everything else will be blooming and beautiful, and we'll be able to enjoy the garden space as everything is blooming. Right now, we're waiting on those cherry trees to pop. We'll have our cherry blossom picnic coming up here in a couple of weeks, which is one of our favorite times at the garden. It's one of our kind of our kickoff of spring here at the garden, and we'll be able to enjoy that as well. So it's looking like you're going to be able to see everything blooming at one time out here before we hit into those southern favorites with our azaleas and some of the other things that'll be blooming throughout here.
And if people want to see just more information on various events that you guys happening throughout the spring and summer months, give us the web address one more time.
Yep, you can visit our website at membg.org. You can go on there. That'll have all of the information about all of our upcoming events. We've got our Sunday Garden Club classes. So if you want to learn a little bit more about gardening and how you can make your yard look like this as well, you can come to some of those. And then all of the other things we have coming up and the links for the tickets will be on there as well.
Okay, Jenna Harris, appreciate you as always, and the beautiful 96 acres at Memphis Botanic Garden. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. If you're like me, if you're like most Mid-Southerners, you are so happy there's no more snow and ice anywhere on the ground. I don't care if it rains. I don't care if it's 85 degrees already. It just isn't. We're just not dealing with any snow and ice. I don't know what the machine's working on as a mind of its own. But let's bring in Jalen Suchek on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to talk about some amazing events that really kind of help us usher in the spring season. Jalen, good morning.
Yes, I am the same sentiment with you. I'm over the cold weather, and it just feels amazing, which is great because we're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors this month.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, you're highlighting some of the prettiest areas in the city of Memphis. Let's go.
Yeah, so the first, I don't know if people are super aware of this, but 2026 is going to be just a really huge year for arts and culture in Memphis. We have a lot of really exciting openings. We have, Memphis Art Museum at the end of the year. The Metal Museum will be opening in the fall. Legacy Building at National Civil Rights Museum. And a lot of milestones. So I know the Memphis Youth Symphony was just on. It's a anniversary year for them as well. But one of the big anniversaries happening is the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. They are celebrating 50 years. And so if you've spent any time out in the gardens over the years, they are very known for their tulip display. This year, they are just dialing it up times 3. So they have planted 650,000 tulips that will be in bloom very, very soon. You'll get the early blooms if you go right now, but about mid to late March is when you're really going to see that kind of full display. And of course, the Dixon is also always free to visit. So just a really good time to go out, be outside and enjoy the gardens. The tulips are beautiful and it always changes every year.
I love the fact that it's still free for everybody because it is one of the prettiest, most colorful places in all of Memphis. In fact, the first time I ever visited, Jalen, Memphis, Tennessee, I was taken to the Dixon because it is so pretty. It's just such a gem.
That's a good hostess who took you there. And yeah, so it's free forever too. So that's great news.
Certainly is.
And then when you're at the Dixon, you have to go inside, of course. The galleries are also part of the free experience. Right now, they have an on exhibit. It's called Black Artists in America from the Bicentennial to September 11th. This is the third and final show in the series. And you can see from our video and a reel we just posted on Instagram last week or so. It is an incredible display. You can really get lost in this for hours. And it's going to be on display from now through March 29th. It features 50 works by different artists, including Ramir Bearden, Elizabeth Catlett, Ernie Barnes. He is the artist heavily featured on the show Good Times, if you're familiar with that. So it's just a really incredible display. And then they also have their other traditional collections on display as well. And then another piece to this is because they are celebrating the 50th anniversary, they have an interactive gallery. It's called Meet the Dixons. So it'll tell the story essentially of how the gardens came to be and the couple, which is Margaret and Hugo Dixon. But they're a little bit about their story. And that will be on display through May 31st.
I love it. It's just two great reasons to check out the Dixon. And I understand the Dixon's neighbor, if you will, is also going crazy this spring with some amazing events too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I encourage you to go to the Dixon multiple times and then stick around on that east corner because Memphis Botanic Garden is hosting Bloom. It's a million shades of spring. So there will be over 1 million blooms happening at the gardens between March and May. So this is going to kind of take you through a seasonal journey of blooms. So you'll begin, of course, with the cherry blossoms, to tulips, to azaleas and magnolias. And then they're going to be really dialing up the activity. So of course they want you to come visit the gardens during those different blooming times. But they're going to be doing Bloom Saturdays. This will be happening every week. It's an all ages kind of make a day of it experience. There will be a bunch of kid activities, food trucks, live performances, cultural celebrations, and a lot more. And then they also have some events for the adults. So this is the after hours Bloom energy. So it's 21 and up only events. They're going to be doing mixology workshops, sip and strolls, flower arranging workshops, tulips at twilight, just a jam-packed calendar for the next 3 months happening at the Memphis Botanic Garden.
Yeah, Memphis Botanic Garden dials it up like 365 days a year. They have great stuff for the family and great stuff for adults as well. Gosh, Jalen, that Park and Cherry location in Memphis is going to be gorgeous.
It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, between the both of them, I think it's just one of the outdoor destinations in the South.
No question, no question. I can't wait. So what else you got?
And right now, what just opened last week at the Memphis Brooks Museum of Art is the Memphis College of Art 1936 to 2020, an Enduring Legacy collection. So this is going to tell the 84-year history of the Memphis College of Art, which did, of course, close in 2020. So the exhibition will feature the work of 90 artists. That's faculty, administrators, and graduates of the school during that time. And these are, many of these artists are artists that have gone on to have great success. They have collections and work in prominent museums, galleries, and collections nationwide. And as you can see from the video, there's just countless number of mediums of art, from photography, painting, ceramics, textiles, sculptures, printmaking, and more. So this will be on view through September 27th. And this is just kind of really important and sentimental, especially to Memphis. A lot of those artists are still working in our city, thankfully, and kind of can look at it as almost the closing chapter of the school now that the Metal Museum is making headway with their renovation of moving into that space in Overton Park.
Yeah, you know, that was something that I think a lot of Memphians and Mid-Southerners were sad to see go. I mean, it had such a history and such a legacy in Memphis. And, you know, I know there's another art school actually in East Memphis that's opened up and to try to fill the gap there. What else do you have going on in the I Love Memphis blog, Jalen?
Well, we have a lot. So we do have individual guides for the Dixon's 50th if you want to see more of those events, as well as the Memphis Botanic Gardens Bloom. So completely curated guides for that. In our other updates, we have a March events guide. It's 25 plus things to do all month long. And also, we just got our St. Patrick's Day guide live yesterday, and we will be continuing to add events because they'll really start getting announced this week. But it's already looking like it's going to be a really fun St. Patrick's Day. But we are heading into spring. We have our food and drink festivals guide. It's time to pack the calendar, so definitely use the blog to fill in those dates before you're on Saturday morning and you're like, what do I want to do? There's going to be a lot to do in the next upcoming months.
I love it. I love MemphisBlog.com. Jalen Suchek running it all for us. Joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Jalen, as always, you always bring it every time you come on the Digital Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Want to show you the cover of the latest edition of La Prensa Latina on newsstands right now, the largest bilingual newspaper in the Memphis area. And look at that. Sales begin for this year's St. Jude Dream Home giveaway in Memphis. Yes, it starts next week, and certainly Action News 5 once again a partner with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, as is La Prensa Latina. And joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, the CEO of La Prensa Latina, mi amigo Jairo Aguirre, once again on the Digital Desk. Hace frío out there, Jairo. ¿Qué tal?
Mucho frío, Andres. We're, I don't know where this cold comes from, but it's
Yes.
gonna creep in through. And for those that want a weather update, they can always check that latest weather updates channel 5. But that's important, but not as crazy and as important as the Send You Dream Home giveaway, which you're right. Channel 5 is a proud partner, and so is La Prensa Latina. And we just wanted to let our community know that, as you said, tickets start on March 20th. So it's a great charitable initiative that raises funds for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So it's one of the world's leading institutes in research and treatment of childhood cancer and other life-threatening diseases. So just for $100, participants not only support a life-saving cause, but also have a chance to win a brand new home. So if we're actually we're gonna get a chance to go next week to do the signing of the dream home, and we get to check out the dream home on the inside, and it's beautiful. Everything's brand new. And honestly, I think they do a little touch up polishes on the houses that you normally probably don't see. You get to talk to the contractor and everything. And it's really, really state of the art new home. So for $100, you can buy your tickets. You can find more. You can go to laprensalatina.com and you can find everything in there in Espanol.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I've been out to the St. Jude Dream Home almost every year that we do it and that they do it, and it is creature comforts there really inside that home. In addition to that, when you buy the $100 ticket, you get a chance to win other prizes like a car and some Visa
That's
gift
right.
card, $1,000 Visa gift card. I mean, it's amazing. It's really, and the chances are really good compared to the lottery, for example. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's right. And here's the thing too. Your $100, like you said, for the lottery, it's not just goes into a lump sum where it goes to somebody else. That $100 actually goes to St. Jude, so it actually goes into the research. So even if you don't win, you actually you made a big impact, and it goes a long way.
It certainly does, and we love to hear it, and we love to promote it. And here it is, La Prensa Latina promoting it as well. There on the cover of the latest edition on newsstands now. Of course, you can always go to laprensalatina.com for the latest news from La Prensa Latina. Moving on, Memphis preparing to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with parades and city-wide festivities. Certainly a lot of fun this weekend, Jairo.
Yeah, so this weekend, Memphis prepares for a epic St. Patrick's Day, and of course, Beale Street is gonna have its parade with Silky Sullivan's 53rd annual celebration. So if you've never been out there, you'll see the green beer, you'll see the everything that's going out there. It's a whole celebration that everybody can enjoy, and it starts this weekend, right? And so if you're out and about, and Andrew, I think this weekend we have pretty decent weather, so we'll make sure you check that out.
Oh yeah, we have great weather until Sunday evening, I'm told. So, but the parade is tomorrow, and it's going to be nice on Beale Street. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity to really just kind of enjoy the outdoors and that spring feel. It's going to be great, Jairo. So,
Exactly.
it's going to be a lot of
It starts
fun.
at 2 o'clock, so make sure you're there a little bit before 2. Make sure you find your parking. Make sure you get everything ready, all the ducks in a row, and be there at 2 because the parade is something you don't want to miss.
Exactly. It's certainly a staple in downtown Memphis. Okay, final one here. The road to the title intensifies for the World Baseball Classic. Tell me more.
Yeah, so it's the Classics entering. So it's the last phase is the 8 remaining teams where it's a compete one or go home matchups for the spot for the semifinals. So they already went to San Juan, cities like in Tokyo and Miami, and now it shifts to the United States where the championship will be decided. So if you're a baseball fan, make sure you keep up with the latest in La Prensa Latina on our social media too, La Prensa Latina media, and of course our website, laprensalatina.com.
Fantastic. Once again, here is the cover of the latest edition of La Prensa Latina on newsstands right now. Tickets begin later this month for the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway in Memphis, with La Prensa Latina and Action News 5 being sponsors. Final thoughts, Jairo, before we let you go.
No, we appreciate it. So, just make sure you stay in touch with us, La Prensa Latina. Those that that have we continue to have a big migration for Latinos in Memphis too. So it's one of our largest growing demographics here in Memphis. So for those Latinos that are just checking in Memphis and wanting to know more information in Spanish in your language, or just want to know more, make sure you go to laprensalatina.com, follow us on La Prensa Latina Media. We'll make sure we get you up and running with what's hot and what's happening here in Memphis. And of course, the latest updates and news and information, not just in Memphis, but nationally and internationally. So you can always check us out at laprensalatina.com or La Prensa Latina Media in our social media platforms.
Sounds good, Jairo. We appreciate the time as always. Have a great weekend.
Muchas gracias, Andrés. Nos vemos en la próxima. Have a great weekend. Muchas gracias.
De nada, mi amigo. Appreciate you. Okay, another live look from our high five camera as we go to break on this Friday. Gorgeous out there, a little cold. Hace frio, as I told Jairo. Let's talk about your forecast in 1 minute. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are awaiting our forecast from meteorologist Patrick Ellis. But before we do, the forecast is amazing today and tomorrow. It's picture perfect. I mean, it's cool this morning, but we're expecting highs near 70 degrees. Lots of sunshine as well. Tomorrow it's going to be even better than that, with highs in the 70s tomorrow. Again, skies like this that you're going to be able to really enjoy all the events across Memphis and the Mid-South tomorrow. And then on Sunday, that's when things begin to change, especially Sunday evening. It'll be windy, and then Sunday evening there could be some storms out there. Again, we'll be getting our forecast from meteorologist Patrick Ellis in just a little bit. Right now, let's go to an interview that we did with one of the artists that is coming to Memphis in a matter of days. My first guest on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, and he is a legend. We are talking about someone who is world renowned. There he is. We're talking about Bekethi Kumalo. He is coming to Memphis. He's going to be at the Halloran Center Saturday, March 14th. He is someone that is known around the world. He's played with everybody. He is best known for creating iconic bass lines in the classics like You Can Call Me Al, Paul Simon's, Graceland, all that stuff. And he's joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to talk about this concert coming to Memphis at the Halloran Center March 14th. Bekethi, great to meet you. Tell me how things are going for you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. All is good. It's all excitement, and I'm just so looking forward to come to Memphis. My goodness. I mean, I've been there before, but really this is more exciting now that I'm coming there with my band to play my music and share a great night with the audience and sing along and bring South Africa to Memphis.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what this performance is going to be like. What can the audience expect?
You know, I always surprise people, you know, because I've been playing with Paul for so many years, I think 40 some years this year. And, but my music, it's like you just never know what's going to happen. You know, there's always like, you know, surprises, things. Nothing really it's planned. It's all surprise because that's how we do it in the village. You know, we just throw you in the mix, sing along, and we teach you the language and play some amazing. And I have some really amazing, talented musicians, like the saxophone player. His name is Maurice Goldbeck. He was born in South Africa in Cape Town, and we met in Zimbabwe, like in the 1982 or 83, somewhere there. He's 89 years old, and he's still playing. And then some of the other musicians that I've met them when I moved to the States. But so the night is going to be really amazing, and also stories, and talk about our journey, talk about my journey, playing with Paul Simon and many others.
Fantastic. And I think many people who know music and know Paul Simon certainly remember that song, You Can Call Me Out, Going to Graceland. Tell me about just the kind of career that you've had. I mean, we're talking about spanning decades. I mean, generations, right?
That's right. That's right. Growing up in South Africa, first of all, things were so difficult, so hard. I grew up in a musical house. My grandmother, she used to go to church. My uncle played saxophone, and but it was chaotic. We lived in a four-room house, and 17 people live in that house, cousins and just everybody. And it was crazy. But the only thing that was beautiful was music, because every weekends, all the cultures, people, they walk around and singing and dress up with beautiful color clothes and playing drums and just singing a lot of stuff. And for me, it was enough information to be a musician, So I just stayed with it, and I stayed with it until the 80s, when I was discovered by Paul Simon. I didn't even know who the guy was. But
that's amazing.
I mean, I didn't expect this. I just played music. I had no idea what was gonna happen. But I always fell in love with American music, because every time I hear these songs on the radio, I said, "Man, this is amazing. I would love to see these people. I would love to go there." But I asked for too much, and Paul Simon came to South Africa, 1986. I was chosen, and now, funny thing, I was working as a mechanic, as a runner, not, just to help my mother because she was getting sick. And so I was trying to make some money for her to get some medicine or something like that. But then the call came at the job to say Paul Simon was looking for me. Man, I was so scared. I was dropping things because I didn't know what Paul Simon, who the hell is Paul Simon? you know. And then my boss, he keeps saying, yeah, Paul Simon from Jamaica, Queens. And I don't know where the Jamaica, Queens. And they finally explained from Jamaica, Queens, New York. He sang the song Mother and Child Reunion. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He's from Jamaica. He's the Rasta. I expect like a guy from Jamaica.
Very different than you found out. I know. And you played with him for
when I go
over
to the
35
studio,
years, right?
Pardon me?
You played with Paul Simon's band, went on tour for over 35 years. Is that right?
40 years this year.
Wow. Okay, so we got the concert.
I'm still playing with him.
Yeah. So we got the concert on March 14th at the Halloran Center, downtown Memphis. You and the South African All-Stars. Tell us what the audience can expect.
Dancing, laughing. It's just going to be just fun, We like to hang out with the audience and just show who we are, the music, how we celebrate. And of course, we're going to be joined by the young kids from school. I can't remember the name of the school. Who's going to be joining us to play a couple of songs with us on stage? Because this
Yeah,
is
the
always
Memphis
something that.
Jazz Workshop. My understanding is you're going to be joined by the Memphis
Yes,
Jazz Workshop.
yes, that's correct. Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
great. And let me ask you, so, if people, how would you describe the music that is going to be displayed? People know Paul Simon, but what's your music?
My music, I'm a solo bassist on my own rights. I write my own songs, and some of the musicians that I'm going to be playing with them, they have their own songs. So the music, it's South African music, maybe the music that people never heard before, but it's going to be very entertaining. And then we're mixing it up also with like jazz, South African jazz, and some smooth jazz, and I do some crazy bass stuff, and it's really hard to describe, but they should come for fun. It's going to be fun. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, listen,
It's going to be amazing.
Bakithi, we really appreciate you coming on the Action News 5 digital desk and talking about the concert that's happening March 14th. Bakithi Kumalo and the South African All-Stars at the Halloran Center right around the corner. Really appreciate your time. Congratulations on such a successful career and everything that you've been able to accomplish. And we look forward to seeing you March 14th, downtown Memphis. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. The Orpheum Theater Group's downtown campus, so that consists of the Halloran Center, the Orpheum Theater, they're undergoing an exterior renovation that you're going to be seeing more and more of, this revitalization project. Let's get an update on the project, what to expect, and what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Daiquiri Baptiste. She is the Vice President and COO of Orpheum Theater Group, joining us on the digital desk. Daiquiri, good morning to you. So tell me about the ideas behind this. Was it something that just, it needed time? It was time to get this so-called facelift? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today? The whole project really just stemmed from wanting the city to understand that both the Halloran Center and the Orpheum Theater are the same organization. We are a campus. We're not two standalone buildings. And we wanted our audience, our patrons, and just downtown residents to understand that we have a space not just inside of our doors, but outside of our doors.
Okay, and so I have some renderings here. Talk me through what we're seeing here, and is this what it's going to look like?
That is the goal. Yes, this is exactly what it's going to look like. From our board of directors to our president to our esteemed staff and team, we recognize that we have a lot of blank canvases that we want to paint with places to gather. So the Main Street Plaza is going to be phase one, is what we're calling it. You'll see a huge O that will shape the space. We want to create some Instagrammable moments, and we felt like that O that everyone is so familiar with in our name should be one of those landing spots. We're also going to do some illumination and add more lighting out in our spaces and add some seating so that it is welcoming. People may want to walk by, sit out there and have a lunch and just be right there on Main Street, and or right before a performance, you want to have people to come downtown to say, hey, meet me at the O, meet me in the middle between the Orpheum and the Halloran before we enter one of the spaces. We've already added some lights that was across Bill Street last year, which is again also helping with adding more light, more gathering, if you will, around our spaces. Phase two of our project will take place on the corner of Beale and Front Street in the back of our building. That's the image you're seeing there. Again, another infamous O, a big splash on the back of our campus, which is currently now just a basic parking lot. We hope to do engagement opportunities in both of those spaces, and more particularly in the back on the front and Beale corner.
What brought this about? Is it just one of those things where, hey, look, it's time to upgrade a little bit?
That's exactly it. We recognize that we've done a lot of improvements inside of our spaces. The Halloran Center is only 10 years old. The Orpheum will be 100 years old in 2028. And we just decided that it made sense to do things that were outside, just so we didn't look so bare, if you will. We took it upon ourselves to want to do this, to be good neighbors.
So many people have enjoyed the Orpheum over many years, the Halloran Center over the last 10 years, as you mentioned. Does it mean that they're going to close at any point, or are they going to lose seats or anything like that?
Not at all. Our goal always with all of our projects is to have continuous business continuity. So working with our contractors and our architects, along with our programming that we do inside, the goal here is to not be able to stop business. We may have some signs that say, pardon our disturbance, pardon our construction, and with safe ways to walk around while it's going on. But there's no reason to believe that we will have to stop our operations that we're currently doing in order to complete these projects.
Okay, great. So what's the timetable for all this?
Well, phase one, which is the Main Street campus, we're slotted to start that work from a construction standpoint late November, early December, with a hopeful completion date by middle to late spring. And then phase two will start shortly thereafter, hopefully in quarter four of 2026, to then hopefully be completed preferably in that same timeline. But the ultimate goal is that by November of 2028, when we'll be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Orpheum Theater, all of this work will be done, and our campus will not just be vibrant on the inside, but be fully activated on the outside, welcoming people not just to shows, Broadway, or music, but anything we could possibly imagine outside.
Fantastic. Okay, so anything else you wanted to mention to our audience? We have thousands of people who join us each and every morning.
I just want to say thank you so much for already being patrons of the arts that enter our spaces. And please spread the word. Please know that the Orpheum Theater Group is here to celebrate the city of Memphis, and that we want to, with these projects, be able to lift up even more artists in our spaces.
Fantastic. All right, Daiquiri Baptiste, we appreciate you coming on the digital desk and telling us about this exciting project that'll really transform that whole area, the downtown theater district, if you will, for November 2028, the 100th anniversary of the Orpheum. I love it. Thanks for coming on the digital desk. We appreciate your time.
I have to lean into me,
Yeah.
to the right. Yeah.
Good morning, guys. What's up?
Good morning.
Hey.
Hey, I was going to take another interview. Unless you guys are ready to go, we can knock this out real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
We're ready.
Okay, give me about 20 seconds, all right?
Okay.
All right.
So, but
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. So how are those New Year's resolutions going? You know, it's March. A lot of times people drop off on all that, you know, the commitment to get healthier, exercise more, eat right. Sometimes it drops off in the month of March. But if you're still hanging in there, well, we've got an idea and certainly a topic to discuss with two people who are in the know when it comes to health, fitness, diet, exercise. I'm joined on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Samantha Pennington, studio leader, John Broadway, a personal trainer. Both work at Lifetime Fitness in Collierville. Let's talk about nutrition, because I think a lot of people miss that point when we talk about bettering our body and bettering our brain. Nutrition is so important. Oftentimes, some people like to say it's more important than even exercising. Where do you guys stand? Good morning.
morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I definitely agree with that point, Andrew. With, we get members coming in to join. They're always talking about exercise. That's their first priority. But when you think about exercise, that's really maybe a few hours a week, maybe 10 hours a week at max. When we talk about nutrition, we're doing that every day. We're eating multiple times a day, and it's going to help support our energy. It's going to help us recover and perform the best we can.
Fantastic. Samantha, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah. I always use the analogy. Do you take care of your car? Do you get your oil changed? Do you put gas in your car? So I kind of reciprocate that to the body. Right? If you want more energy throughout your day, if you want to feel fueled, not dehydrated, like what are you doing and what are you putting in your body to help yourself live a healthy and happy life every single day and not feel low energy or feel like you are slumming around a little bit? You probably should check into what you're putting into your body to help sustain yourself throughout the day.
Yeah, no question about it. It's something when you are dealing with a fine, well-oiled machine, anything that you put into it could either have great benefits or could really put you behind the eight ball and you could be really lacking. So let's talk about some of those simple ways to fuel not only our body, but our brain as well. And feel free to, jump in whenever you guys want to talk about an issue. But yeah, let's talk about those elements of fueling both the body and brain.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it all really starts with carbs. A lot of times we hear people say we need to cut back on our carbs, but really carbs, we need those for just our body to function properly. You want to probably shoot for about 45% of your calories coming from carbs. So almost half of your calories coming from carbs. And then you want the carbs because you're going to be able to fuel your workout. When we talk about the main fuel source for building muscle, it's going to be your carbs. So if you don't have carbs, kind of like to Samantha's analogy, you're running on empty. We don't want to run on empty when we're trying to build muscle.
Yeah. So behind us, we have our protein powder, and it's Build. So in Build, we not only have the protein grams in there, but we also have your essential minerals, vitamins, probiotics, your fiber. So it's really important that in addition to our carbs, which is our energy source, that we're intaking that protein as well to help replenish the breakdown that we create while we're working out. I know sometimes it's hard. It is spring break time. People are going on vacation, but being able to balance pleasure, right, of going out to eat and enjoying yourselves with friends, right, it's all in moderation. And so we discussed a little bit that it's just small changes, right? Whether it's you're a little bit more prepared when going on vacation and you bring your protein powder with you, because you know you might be going to a pizza place on the water at the beach, you know. So being mindful and 1% better every day will help bring yourself to that point of, okay, now I'm eating, you know, healthy almost all the time. So it's those little steps along the way that you're going to want to change before that big impact really occurs.
Appreciate both of you weighing in on that. Great, valuable information. Let's talk now about sugar intake. So many of us are trying to do our best to watch sugar. It is in everything. I don't have to tell you that. It is certainly an issue for so many people. So how do we watch it, and how do we reduce that intake?
Yeah, so biggest thing that I would say is look at your nutrition labels and track how much added sugar that you're taking in. So those natural sugars are okay to take in, but really it's just like you're looking at double-digit added sugars. You probably want to cut back on those, but also track like your serving size, because you may be eating a bigger portion, multiple servings. So instead of eating 2 servings, 3 servings, let's cut it back to 1, and that way we're in moderation. Another thing too is swapping those foods out for natural sugars. So like fruits, veggies is going to be an easy way to make that transition.
I like that. That's great. What about hydration? Because, you know, there are a couple trains of thought. So a lot of people are like, oh, you got to drink water. You got to drink 8 ounces of water at least, or eight glasses. You know what I mean? And so the hydration can be an issue. But then there's other people that says, whoa, you need something in that water. You need some sort of electrolytes or salt or whatever. Tell us your best methods.
Yeah, so again, behind us, we have our hydrate. It's sitting on top like a little tier. So I teach a lot of heated classes here at Lifetime. We have, you know, hot yoga and hot Pilates. So in those classes, people are usually sweating a lot amount, and in saunas as well. But what they don't know, it's not only drinking enough water prior that day to your class, but also getting your electrolytes in the day before, so that when you're going in, you're completely hydrated, and then you're hydrating even more after that. Just to your point of sodium, the salt intake, that's going to help replenish way more of that sweat that you have lost in your workouts and in your sauna sessions than just water will. Our hydrate, we have a bunch of flavors that are very yummy. So anybody can purchase these off the Lifetime shop.
Final question before we let you go, and we're wrapping up here. Fiber in diet is very important. What are some easy ways to get that into our diet?
Yeah, I think it goes back to just like veggies, whole grains, like just your natural foods. One of the most important things is look at your nutrition label. You want to try to get foods that have dietary fibers like 3 grams, 5 grams. Not only is the benefit of the fiber, but also those foods are more likely to have vitamins and minerals, heavy doses of them.
Yeah, and you know, obviously supplementation is really simple to do. You can throw some fiber in your drink, your protein shakes. Our Build protein powder with that all-in-one is going to have some fiber in there as well. But also too, like those natural plant foods, like John was saying, eating your veggies, that little difference that you can change within your nutrition will help your digestive system a lot more than, you know, trying to eat greens all day, every day. So remember, those small little changes that you make will make it easier once we start getting into those long-term goals.
As much as I like to see you guys working out on camera, and we've done that in the past, this is a very important conversation as well. So appreciate you guys, Samantha Pennington and John Broadway, coming on the Digital Desk. Valuable information on nutrition for both your body and your brain. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, another live look from our High Five camera as we go to break on this beautiful Friday morning. 55 degrees, 10:05. We're back in 1 minute on Action News 5's Digital Desk. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Right. I got you. Okay.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A high near 70 degrees today. Beautiful day of weather setting up for us here across the Mid-South with tons of sunshine. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy it throughout the course of the day today. As we roll through tomorrow, that's when things start to change up for us. As we get through your Saturday, we should be in good shape. You got plans heading out to the Silky Sullivan St. Patrick's Day Parade down Beale Street, 75 and sunshine. But look what happens. This is a look ahead to Sunday, where we will have some active weather here across the Mid-South. We will have a strong cold front moving through the region, something that you need to be prepared for as we head through that time frame. Damaging winds are going to be the primary severe weather risks that you need to be prepared for. The SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, already outlining the entire area underneath a level 2 out of 5 risk. That means that we could see widely isolated or widely scattered opportunities for storms that could be a little bit more active on the severe weather side. But you see the orange area here. That is a level 3 out of 5 risk that we could see some strong and severe thunderstorms. That extends all the way up towards the Ohio River Valley and past there, heading up towards the north, almost to the Great Lakes. Now we're on the tail end of that, and there is still going to be some jockeying around on the placement of this, but there is an indication that we will have a squall line that will develop, and that squall line will push through here and bring us some strong storms. Now the good news is that that strong storm threat will come to an end by midnight on Monday. The problem is that then behind that, much colder air begins to filter back into the area. So let's time it out now, hour by hour with our First Alert Futurecast, and you'll notice as we go through the course of your Sunday, the morning hours should be fine. Heading off to church services, you're fine. The only big issue is that those winds are going to be pretty aggressive, gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour, and that's without a thunderstorm. So make sure that your patio furniture isn't getting knocked over. Maybe if you put up an umbrella, because of course it's going to be sunny the next couple of days. It's going to be warm the next couple of days. You might want to do that. Just be prepared that you might want to bring it down or bring it inside. Back out to the west, developing line of showers and thunderstorms west of the Ozarks as we get closer to 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It will start shooting eastward. See how these storms really blossom as they get north and west of Little Rock. A couple of these could become supercell thunderstorms, at least initially. So this is going to be the time frame to watch out for, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening as the line starts to initialize back out to the west. And as it moves farther to the east, it becomes more of a squall line. That squall line will have these little kinks and bows along it. When you see a kink right here near Jonesboro, right here, right along I-40, another one down here south of Little Rock, south of Pine Bluff. Those little kinks is where you could see the brief spin of tornado potential, okay? But these little bowing segments, you see one going through Jonesboro, one north of Jonesboro, one up closer to Cape Girardeau. That's where you can see the straight line winds. And in this type of situation, straight line winds have a tendency to be a little bit more widespread than the little tiny tornado that could roll through an area. But at any rate, you need to be prepared for both of them. The time frame of that, again, we're opening it up. It's a kind of a wide berth right now, be between about 4 p.m. and about midnight, because the line will quickly move off to the east and should exit the area by the time we head towards midnight. And you do notice some blue back out here to the north and west. It would not be surprising, as the cold air is still working its way into the area. There's some lingering moisture behind this. As the front works its way off to the east, we might be able to eke out a flurry or two. That's not something that's going to accumulate, but don't be surprised that you wake up early on Monday morning, you're like, some snowflakes are flying. Nothing that it's going to accumulate, though, as we drop down to about 32 degrees. 42 as we head through your Monday. It will be a cold, blustery day as that push of wintry air come direct out of Canada. It's like they open up the back door for us. And, of course, not only 42 on Monday, but 48 on Tuesday. 26 when you wake up early on Tuesday morning. And my gardeners, I want you to start thinking about covering up or bringing in your plants before that, because of the hard freeze that we expect across the entire Action News 5 coverage area, anywhere from about 23 to 29 degrees to wake up early on Tuesday morning. So be prepared for the cold that'll be pushing into the area. The good news is that the extended forecast does have a trend of warmer. To the low 60s we go on Wednesday, Thursday up to 72. Upper 70s the first day of spring on Friday, near 80 degrees the first weekend of spring. Not bad, but we need you to be weather aware and attuned to the situation late Sunday as that system works its way through the region. Again, the main time frame for the strong winds would likely be just after 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. The severe weather potential increases after 4 o'clock in the afternoon through about midnight early Monday morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. Let's talk about the relationship between high blood sugar and heart disease. To talk more about this issue, I'm joined on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Dr. Harbinger Singh. He is a cardiovascular and thoracic surgeon with St. Francis Hospital. Harbinger, thank you so much for joining us. So tell me a little bit about the direct correlation between high blood sugar and heart disease. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. Yeah, there's definitely a correlation of high blood sugar and vascular disease, cardiac disease, and also all the vessels in the body. Chronically elevated blood sugar will cause irregular changes in the vascular system, and eventually over time, the amount of blood flow that comes through these vessels that brings the vital oxygen and nutrients will be diminished. And this will cause problems with the organs they supply or the muscles they supply, etc.
So, for all of those people out there, how do we, one, measure blood sugar, and two, how do we bring it down?
Well, people who have diabetes or at risk for diabetes, or even the general public, should see a primary care doctor regularly. Those that are at risk for diabetes or have type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes should see more often. The labs that are generally checked on the blood panel include the fasting blood sugar, which reflects the short-term level of your blood glucose, the hemoglobin A1C, which reflects a 3-month period of your overall blood glucose level. And you can even check fasting insulin resistance, which is associated with type 2 diabetes. So you can check fasting insulin levels.
Right. So how do we do that?
Well, your primary care doctor will order these labs. Diabetics should be going every 3 to 6 months. The A1C will reflect how you've been handling your blood sugar over the last 3 months. The fasting blood sugar is just you don't eat the night before, after midnight, get your blood drawn in the morning and kind of see where your blood sugar ran overnight and into the morning. And then fasting insulin levels is the same thing, that you would fast, get your blood drawn. If your circulating free insulin levels are high, that means you have what's called insulin resistance and you're a type 2 diabetic and you're not efficiently managing your blood sugar.
What do you see with your practice where people make the biggest mistakes when it comes to blood sugar and this relationship between blood sugar and heart disease?
Well, I think there are a number of factors. People say they may eat healthy, but they may have trouble with portion control. Certainly their food choices. Like your previous guest mentioned, you want to avoid the simple carbohydrates, which are seen in refined foods like cakes, pastries, white bread, pasta, etc. Complex carbohydrates are fine, and those are mostly seen in vegetables. So you would like to lean towards fiber and lean protein. So people make dietary changes that aren't in their favor. They also eat fried foods, or the way they prepare the food can make a difference. And I think a lot of people need to increase their activity levels. It's recommended you have 150 minutes of moderate activity or exercise per week.
All good advice. I mean, portion control, eat more fruits and vegetables for fiber, more activity. What else can we do, doctor?
You have to control your weight, especially for type 2 diabetics. And portion control, food choices, and activity all tie into that. The one thing we can't control is our genetics, but all these other factors are lifestyle factors that we can control.
Anything else you want to mention before we let you go? Perhaps signs, symptoms, warning signs, that sort of thing?
Yeah, people do develop some signs and symptoms they may not recognize. They're frequently much more thirsty. They urinate a lot more frequently. Increased fatigue, headaches, blurred vision. These can all be signs that your blood sugar is not in control. Also, wound healing. If you develop a small injury and it takes a long time to heal, diabetes affects our immune system and our ability to heal. So those may be signs.
Very good. All right. All good information here. Final thoughts before we let you go.
Well, it's a prevalent disease in our society. 10% of people have it. The incidence is increasing, and it really needs to be on our radar for everyone to keep track of your blood sugar and see your primary care doctor regularly.
All right, Dr. Harbinder Singh, we appreciate you joining us on the digital desk. Appreciate these factoids that you're telling us about when it comes to blood sugar, blood control, and ways to prevent heart disease. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A high near 70 degrees today. Beautiful day of weather setting up for us here across the Mid-South with tons of sunshine. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy it throughout the course of the day today. As we roll through tomorrow, that's when things start to change up for us. As we get through your Saturday, we should be in good shape. Got plans heading out to the Silky Sullivan St. Patrick's Day Parade down Beale Street. 75 and sunshine. But look what happens. This is a look ahead to Sunday, where we will have some active weather here across the Mid-South. We will have a strong cold front moving through the region, something that you need to be prepared for as we head through that time frame. Damaging winds are going to be the primary severe weather risks that you need to be prepared for. The SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, already outlining the entire area underneath a level 2 out of 5 risk. That means that we could see widely isolated or widely scattered opportunities for storms that could be a little bit more active on the severe weather side. But you see the orange area here. That is a level 3 out of 5 risk that we could see some strong and severe thunderstorms. That extends all the way up towards the Ohio River Valley and past there, heading up towards the north, almost to the Great Lakes. Now we're on the tail end of that, and there is still going to be some jockeying around on the placement of this, but there is an indication that we will have a squall line that will develop, and that squall line will push through here and bring us some strong storms. Now the good news is that strong storm threat will come to an end by midnight on Monday. The problem is that then behind that, much colder air begins to filter back into the area. So let's time it out now, hour by hour, with our First Alert Futurecast. And you'll notice as we go through the course of your Sunday, the morning hours should be fine. Heading off to church services, you're fine. The only big issue is that those winds are going to be pretty aggressive, gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour, and that's without a thunderstorm. So make sure that your patio furniture isn't getting knocked over. Maybe if you put up an umbrella, because of course it's going to be sunny the next couple of days. It's going to be warm the next couple of days. You might want to do that. Just be prepared that you might want to bring it down or bring it inside. Back out to the west, developing line of showers and thunderstorms west of the Ozarks as we get closer to 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It will start shooting eastward. See how these storms really blossom as they get north and west of Little Rock. A couple of these could become supercell thunderstorms, at least initially. So this is going to be the time frame to watch out for, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening as the line starts to initialize back out to the west. And as it moves farther to the east, it becomes more of a squall line. That squall line will have these little kinks and bows along it. When you see a kink right here near Jonesboro, right here, right along I-40, another one down here south of Little Rock, south of Pine Bluff. Those little kinks is where you can see the brief spin-up tornado potential, okay? But these little bowing segments, you see one going through Jonesboro, one north of Jonesboro, one up closer to Cape Girardeau. That's where you can see the straight line winds. And in this type of situation, straight line winds have a tendency to be a little bit more widespread than the little tiny tornado that could roll through an area. But at any rate, you need to be prepared for both of them. The time frame of that, again, we're opening it up. It's a kind of a wide berth right now, be between about 4 p.m. and about midnight, because the line will quickly move off to the east and should exit the area by the time we head towards midnight. And you do notice some blue back out here to the north and west. It would not be surprising, as the cold air is still working its way into the area. There's some lingering moisture behind this. As the front works its way off to the east, we might be able to eke out a flurry or two. That's not something that's going to accumulate, but don't be surprised that you wake up early on Monday morning, you're like, some snowflakes are flying. Nothing that it's going to accumulate, though, as we drop down to about 32 degrees. 42 as we head through your Monday. It will be a cold, blustery day as that push of wintry air comes direct out of Canada. It's like they open up the back door for us. And, of course, not only 42 on Monday, but 48 on Tuesday. 26 when you wake up early on Tuesday morning. And my gardeners, I want you to start thinking about covering up or bringing in your plants before that, because of the hard freeze that we expect across the entire Action News 5 coverage area, anywhere from about 23 to 29 degrees to wake up early on Tuesday morning. So be prepared for the cold that'll be pushing into the area. The good news is that the extended forecast does have a trend of warmer. To the low 60s we go on Wednesday, Thursday up to 72. Upper 70s the first day of spring on Friday, near 80 degrees the first weekend of spring. Not bad, but we need you to be weather aware and attuned to the situation late Sunday as that system works its way through the region. Again, the main time frame for the strong winds would likely be just after 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. The severe weather potential increases after 4 o'clock in the afternoon through about midnight early Monday morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to tell you about a show that's coming to A&E. It is called Predator Hunters, and it is a new series that follows a 30-year veteran investigator by the name of Detective Tony Godwin, where he and his team in the North Texas-based Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, they uncover all kinds of online exploitation and bring perpetrators to justice before they harm any children. And joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I have Tony joining us to talk a little bit more about this series. Tony, it's good to meet you. Tell me, first off, about your background. 30 years, is this all in the Texas area? Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Thank you for having me. And, I've been in law enforcement for almost 35 years total. I started out in the military as a cop and a detective, and then I transitioned to a civilian agency where I've been for the last 32 years. And my role for the past 20 of those 32 years has been on the North Texas ICAC task force.
Okay, and so obviously the work has gained the attention of these producers at A&E. Tell me the kind of work that you do and what we're going to see if we, tune in to watch this. I have a little bit of video that I can show while you're talking.
Yeah, thank you for that. So generally, I do undercover work online. So anything that affects a child, gaming systems, cell phones, computers, the World Wide Web, anything involving child exploitation, I put myself out there in an undercover capacity in the hopes that a predator will find me instead of a real child. Everything that I do online in an undercover capacity is something that I've learned, unfortunately, from a real case involving a real child. And so it's important for us and the ICAC task force to be out there and prevent any harm to a real kid if we can.
The first thing when I was prepping for this interview, Tony, initially I thought of To Catch a Predator, which was early 2000s. It was on NBC, very popular show. How is this different, or is it very much the same?
Oh, it's very different. I can assure you that. At the end of the day, this is all run by law enforcement. In order to do this type of work in the ICAC, you have to be an active law enforcement officer, which was very different than how it was done back in the day. And while entertaining, the entertainment value is still there because, we do end up catching a lot of really bad people. And I think the audience itself is going to hopefully gain the understanding and the education component to this, to know that these are real life case studies. This isn't make believe. This is things that really happen. And I think they're also going to see just how rapidly things move and the reality and severity of some of the things these offenders will do and say.
So you've been doing this, as we've been talking about, for over 30 years. What kind of advice would you give to parents? There are so many parents out there that are concerned about online predators and their kids being online. Give me some basic advice that you would give those parents.
Yeah. Oh, really great question. Number one is I would say the key thing is probably be intentional, leaning in, knowing when you see some sort of behavior change in a child. Maybe they go from an A student down to a D student, or maybe their friend group has changed significantly, or they've always been an outgoing person and now they're kind of an introvert. So pay attention. Those could be red flags that something's going on. Also, know what's going on, know how to get into their phones, know the passcodes, know the apps, educate yourself about where they're going and what they're doing, and monitor what they're doing. If you do that on your own, as well as with maybe some kind of a software to do that, you're going to help yourself out in the long run, and do so in a loving and constructive way that's age appropriate for your child. But that intentionality of multiple conversations over the course of time is the key. That's the key. Because if you do that, the chance that if something does happen, your child will come to you or a trusted adult and say, I think I've gotten myself into a situation. You may not be happy. You may be a little disappointed, but you can do this and conquer this and empower that child to know that they did the right thing, and we're going to get this taken care of.
Great advice there, Tony. Final thing, where can we watch this show?
It's on A&E on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern time. The premiere episode was last week, but there's 10 episodes in this, so I hope everybody will tune in on Thursdays at 9 o'clock Eastern on A&E.
Okay. Detective Tony Godwin, we really appreciate you coming on the digital desk, telling us not only about your show, Predator Hunters, but also great advice for some parents out there that have young children. And we know that is certainly a problem with so many people all across the country, is this online predators that are out there. So listen, we appreciate the time. Thanks for the expertise, and we'll look for you on A&E Thursday night. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Regional One Hospital is hosting its annual Trauma and Burn Conference later this month. And so there's going to be people from all over to be a part of this event that's happening in Memphis at the Memphis Hilton. Joining me now to talk more about it, I'm joined by Lane Oxner. He's part of Regional One Health, and he is a trauma burn outreach educator. So tell me more about this annual event, Lane. Good morning.
Good morning. So our annual Trauma and Burn Conference is an educational opportunity for EMS, nurses, PAs, physician assistants, medical doctors, surgeons in the entire Mid-South region to come together and be able to learn, spend a whole day for trauma and burn education. Our layout is we do 30-minute increment presentations throughout the day. We start around 8 a.m. and end around 4 p.m. And we are able to cover lots of different educational topics that will help these people go back to their smaller communities and be able to provide the accurate and good trauma and burn care to help those patients out.
Okay, and so this is March 26th at the Memphis Hilton. And how many agencies and various affiliations are coming in? Is it a wide swath, and is it outside our region, nationally or regionally?
Absolutely. So we estimate we'll have approximately 300 attendees this year, which is growing from last year. This is our third annual conference, so we're just getting back started with Regional One Health hosting this event. Last year we had 250 register with around 215 attendees show up at the door and check in. This year our goal is to hit 300, which would be amazing. The thing is with this conference is it's a conference that's mostly Mid-South people, people coming from Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee to come and get the education. But we have people that travel from further states, especially up in the northern states. It really just depends. Last year we had someone that traveled from Minnesota just because they were like, I heard it was a great educational opportunity, lots of great speakers. They said it was very organized and professional. They said, and so I wanted to come and check it out, which is fantastic. And that's our goal. It is at the Hilton Memphis. It is just one day on March 26th. And then it's amazing. Our keynote speaker that afternoon at 3:30 will be Dr. Dustin Smoot, all the way from South Dakota. He is a trauma surgeon out there, and he'll be there to kind of tell his story as a trauma surgeon, but also tell his side of the story because he was a patient at one time and how it's kind of changed his care and view on trauma care.
Is this just open to EMTs? Is it open to others out there, or just the general public? How does it work?
So technically it is open to the general public. I will say that it targets mostly anyone in the healthcare field on the emergency side or surgeon side. So anyone in the EMS community, EMTs, paramedics, firefighters, anyone like that. We do have some police officers that have attended in the past, and it's great education for them to know for pre-hospital and on-scene safety. And then it obviously targets trauma surgeons or general surgeons. It will also target any type of nurses that work in trauma care, burn care, emergency care, and then the nurse practitioners, physicians assistants, any of those advanced practice practitioners that are taking care of these patients. It's a great opportunity for them. A lot of the rural hospitals in the surrounding states, sometimes those emergency departments are only staffed by those advanced practitioners like a nurse practitioner or physician's assistant. So this is a great opportunity for them to come in and get great education on how to take care of lots of different types of injuries. That way, when they go back to their community, they have that extra knowledge of those specific type of cases of trauma and burn patients that they don't deal with every day.
You know, it sounds like a great event. I mean, it sounds wonderful. I mean, 300 people attending. And you're talking about like the latest and most innovative ways to treat these kind of patients, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of our topics, we have neurosurgery that's going to come and talk about brain injuries. We have the orthopedic surgeons that are going to talk about some of our long bone fractures with like your femur or your upper arm. Then we have vascular surgeons that are going to speak on vascular injuries. Some of our burn surgeons and burn physicians from the burn center are going to speak about inhalation injuries, as well as the technology that has advanced to take care of burn care and different skin transplants and stuff like that. Then we have some different trauma surgeons and general surgeons that will speak. different trauma surgeons from Arkansas as well will come and speak and kind of give us an update on the Arkansas trauma care and what they do to keep their system running as well.
Fantastic. Anything else, Lane, we can touch on before we let you go?
No, I think it's a great opportunity. If anyone's interested, you can always reach out to anyone at Regional 1. Most people know about the event or how to get a hold of our team. We would love to have anyone in the healthcare field be a part. Thank you.
Okay, March 26th at the Memphis Hilton, a great event there. The Trauma and Burn Conference that's happening for one day there later this month. Lane, thanks for breaking it down for us. Congratulations on all the attendees that are signed up to be a part of this, and it's growing bigger and better each and every year. We appreciate the details this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A high near 70 degrees today. Beautiful day of weather setting up for us here across the Mid-South with tons of sunshine. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy it throughout the course of the day today. As we roll through tomorrow, that's when things start to change up for us. As we get through your Saturday, we should be in good shape. Got plans heading out to the Silky Sullivan St. Patrick's Day Parade down Beale Street, 75 and sunshine. But look what happens. This is a look ahead to Sunday, where we will have some active weather here across the Mid-South. We will have a strong cold front moving through the region, something that you need to be prepared for as we head through that time frame. Damaging winds are going to be the primary severe weather risk that you need to be prepared for. The SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, already outlining the entire area underneath a level 2 out of 5 risk. That means that we could see widely isolated or widely scattered opportunities for storms that could be a little bit more active on the severe weather side. But you see the orange area here. That is a level 3 out of 5 risk that we could see some strong and severe thunderstorms. That extends all the way up towards the Ohio River Valley and past there, heading up towards the north, almost to the Great Lakes. Now we're on the tail end of that, and there is still going to be some jockeying around on the placement of this, but there is an indication that we will have a squall line that will develop, and that squall line will push through here and bring us some strong storms. Now the good news is that that strong storm threat will come to an end by midnight on Monday. The problem is that then behind that, much colder air begins to filter back into the area. So let's time it out now, hour by hour with our First Alert Futurecast. And you'll notice as we go through the course of your Sunday, the morning hours should be fine. Heading off to church services, you're fine. The only big issue is that those winds are going to be pretty aggressive, gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour, and that's without a thunderstorm. So make sure that your patio furniture isn't getting knocked over. Maybe if you put up an umbrella, because of course it's going to be sunny the next couple of days. It's going to be warm the next couple of days. You might want to do that. Just be prepared that you might want to bring it down or bring it inside. Back out to the west, developing line of showers and thunderstorms west of the Ozarks as we get closer to 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It will start shooting eastward. See how these storms really blossom as they get north and west of Little Rock. A couple of these could become supercell thunderstorms, at least initially. So this is going to be the time frame to watch out for, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening as the line starts to initialize back out to the west. And as it moves farther to the east, it becomes more of a squall line. That squall line will have these little kinks and bows along it. When you see a kink right here near Jonesboro, right here, right along I-40, another one down here south of Little Rock, south of Pine Bluff. Those little kinks is where you could see the brief spin of tornado potential, okay? But these little bowing segments, you see one going through Jonesboro, one north of Jonesboro, one up closer to Cape Girardeau. That's where you can see the straight line winds. And in this type of situation, straight line winds have a tendency to be a little bit more widespread than the little tiny tornado that could roll through an area. But at any rate, you need to be prepared for both of them. The time frame of that, again, we're opening it up. It's a kind of a wide berth right now, be between about 4 p.m. and about midnight, because the line will quickly move off to the east and should exit the area by the time we head towards midnight. And you do notice some blue back out here to the north and west. It would not be surprising, as the cold air is still working its way into the area. There's some lingering moisture behind this. As the front works its way off to the east, we might be able to eke out a flurry or two. That's not something that's going to accumulate, but don't be surprised that you wake up early on Monday morning, you're like, some snowflakes are flying. Nothing that it's going to accumulate, though, as we drop down to about 32 degrees. 42 as we head through your Monday. It will be a cold, blustery day as that push of wintry air come direct out of Canada. It's like they open up the back door for us. And, of course, not only 42 on Monday, but 48 on Tuesday. 26 when you wake up early on Tuesday morning. And my gardeners, I want you to start thinking about covering up or bringing in your plants before that, because of the hard freeze that we expect across the entire Action News 5 coverage area, anywhere from about 23 to 29 degrees to wake up early on Tuesday morning. So be prepared for the cold that'll be pushing into the area. The good news is that the extended forecast does have a trend of warmer. To the low 60s we go on Wednesday, Thursday up to 72. Upper 70s the first day of spring on Friday, near 80 degrees the first weekend of spring. Not bad, but we need you to be weather aware and attuned to the situation late Sunday as that system works its way through the region. Again, the main time frame for the strong winds would likely be just after 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. The severe weather potential increases after 4 o'clock in the afternoon through about midnight early Monday morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There is a story that's written in the Daily Memphian, and this is about tax revenue from XAI. It is projected to more than double. And joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I have Sam Hardiman on the line. He wrote this article, and you know, XAI has been in the news a lot over the last several weeks, several months. Sam, you know, I don't have to tell you, but this one definitely piqued my curiosity, because you know, a lot of people who have been in support of XAI coming into Memphis and the Mid-South area have pointed to this fact that tax revenues are going to continue to grow. Can you talk a little bit about the projections when it comes to this tax revenue? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. Thanks for having me. And so the Shelby County Assessor's Office gave a presentation to the Shelby County Commission that estimates XAI's Shelby County property tax revenue, which is just one component. They obviously pay City of Memphis taxes for their City of Memphis operations. And this doesn't have anything to do with their South Haven operations, because that's a different state and different municipality in that state. But just for Shelby County, based for the 2 data centers in Memphis, it could pay up to $28 million this year in ad valorem property tax, which is obviously a big amount of money. It's huge for the county budget. It would probably be a similar amount of money just based on projections for the City of Memphis, because the assessments work roughly the same. But we don't know that officially yet. And so last year, for the 2025 tax year, XAI paid the county $12.5 million. This is money that's actually been paid, and the City of Memphis $12 million. And that was just with one data center on the tax rolls. What's really important here is now there are 2 data centers. The Whitehaven data center, which is at 5420 Tulane Road, is now on the tax rolls. Beyond the first original one, source of the original controversy, 3231 Paul Lowry Road, which is now going to be on its 2nd year on the tax rolls. And so that's where this money in this decreased projection is coming from. We still haven't seen the actual appraisals yet, and that's something to really look at and make sure that XAI is being taxed on everything that's in the building. But this is why the revenue is going up. There's more XAI to tax.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And I know last year there was discussion about earmarking some of their tax money to some of the neighborhoods around XAI. I know there was talk. Did anything come from that? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, something happened. I don't actually know what the City of Memphis has done with the money yet, but the City of Memphis did pass an ordinance. Forgive me, I don't remember the name of it, but essentially allocating money within a radius around the XI data centers, a quarter of the tax revenue. And the mayor actually put out a video probably last week on his Instagram page that was talking, didn't really say what was being done in 38109, but was video talking to local pastors and residents about the need for investment in the area. Obviously, the Memphis Mayor Paul Young has yet to present his budget yet. And so that's, how much their revenue they're expecting from XAI and what a quarter of it looks like remains to be seen. So yeah, that has happened. At the same time, both Shelby County and the city of Memphis face real budget constraints, and have slow growth in other revenue sources or negative growth in some revenue sources in the city of Memphis. So this money is coming, this influx of essentially what is taxation on billions, tens of billions of dollars, probably an investment from XAI, is coming probably at a welcome time for both governments' budgets, is probably fair to say.
Yeah, I can see that. Interesting stuff, Sam. Another thing that was interesting that I found in that article that you wrote, Sam, was the fact that other companies have purchased properties for perhaps the potential of other data centers. Explain.
Yeah, we've reported this at the Daily Memphian. I think WMC has too. We're talking about, the former Fred's warehouse, other stuff. Probably none of it as substantial as XAI, because XAI, not just on a Memphis scale, like I think Memphians sort of sometimes forget how large XAI's actual investment here is or maybe even don't know in terms on a national scale. It's giant. This is one of the largest, clusters of data centers in the country for like artificial intelligence purposes. So like just a different level of investment. But yeah, these other data centers are planned, and again, that planned is not building, is not having permits, is not drawing electricity, right? There's a difference. And yeah, so I mean, that is what the Shelby County assessor's office is saying in a presentation. Whether or not that stuff actually comes on the tax rolls is different. I mean, XAI has come on the tax rolls and built data centers. Obviously, they're in existing buildings. That's part of the reason why, at pretty crazy speed, right? In the West Memphis, Google project, for example, obviously different state, different municipality, but not any, because that's a new build. That's nowhere close to contributing tax revenue to that community yet. And so this isn't to praise XAI, it's just to say XAI is moving at such speed that like almost in real time, the investment in any economic benefit from the controversy, which is really the tax revenue, right, is happening versus, just controversy and no increased tax revenue. And so that's worth, and obviously it's not just controversy. There's real air pollution concerns that have come with XAI. XAI has been a material addition, not material, I can't say that, but has definitely been an addition based on facts to the region's air quality issues. How big of an addition is probably beyond my knowledge, but and I'd love to see some good science on that. But there's increased tax revenue here, and then there's also the fact that this investment has come with an additional worse contribution to air quality issues, which Shelby County already had before XAI arrived.
Okay, all right. Another thing I wanted to mention, kind of related there, is the fact that with these other companies perhaps building data centers, and again, as you mentioned, I mean, there's nothing that has any kind of agreement in place that says, okay, a data center will go up. They've just purchased property there. But it could drive, if you mentioned, XAI has this huge presence here. Could there be the possibility of, becoming this hot spot for data centers and artificial intelligence here in Memphis and the Mid-South?
I mean, it's not just a possibility at this point, Andrew. I mean, if you just look at the amount of very valuable chips, which we don't have a really good number from the company on right now, that are doing the type of artificial intelligence computing in Memphis that XAI has, Memphis is definitely a hot spot. Just a matter of whether the discussion of, is Memphis going to be like an AI hub in the future, and is this going to, grow? I think that's hypothetical. I think XAI by itself has made Memphis this. Whether or not there's like going to be this sort of critical mass of companies is unclear. And it's also worth noting that like some of these other data centers aren't necessarily AI data centers. And there's a difference in terms of, we're using the cloud right now for all this interview, right? Like it's, we're using whatever Zoom is using as a cloud provider and whatever y'all are using, and we're, being able to do this. I mean, that's happening because of a data center. It's just not an artificial intelligence data center. And so that's, I think, important to note too. And so, yeah, I think XAI by itself, but just, I mean, the amount of investment it takes to become an AI hub is crazy. And it's just, I don't know if there's going to be another company coming.
Okay. Well, listen, I always appreciate the conversation. Sam Hardiman, Daily Memphian, and joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We appreciate your time as always, Sam. Thank you.
Things start to change up for us. As we get through your Saturday, we should be in good shape. Got plans heading out to the Silky Sullivan St. Patrick's Day Parade down Beale Street, 75 and sunshine. But look what happens. This is a look ahead to Sunday, where we will have some active weather here across the Mid-South. We will have a strong cold front moving through the region, something that you need to be prepared for as we head through that time frame. Damaging winds are going to be the primary severe weather risk that you need to be prepared for. The SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, already outlining the entire area underneath a level 2 out of 5 risk. That means that we could see widely isolated or widely scattered opportunities for storms that could be a little bit more active on the severe weather side. But you see the orange area here. That is a level 3 out of 5 risk that we could see some strong and severe thunderstorms. That extends all the way up towards the Ohio River Valley and past there, heading up towards the north, almost to the Great Lakes. Now we're on the tail end of that, and there is still going to be some jockeying around on the placement of this, but there is an indication that we will have a squall line that will develop, and that squall line will push through here and bring us some strong storms. Now the good news is that strong storm threat will come to an end by midnight on Monday. The problem is that then behind that, much colder air begins to filter back into the area. So let's time it out now, hour by hour, with our first alert futurecast. And you'll notice as we go through the course of your Sunday, the morning hours should be fine. Heading off to church services, you're fine. The only big issue is that those winds are going to be pretty aggressive, gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour, and that's without a thunderstorm. So make sure that your patio furniture isn't getting knocked over. Maybe if you put up an umbrella, because of course it's going to be sunny the next couple of days. It's going to be warm the next couple of days. You might want to do that. Just be prepared that you might want to bring it down or bring it inside. Back out to the west, developing line of showers and thunderstorms west of the Ozarks as we get closer to 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It will start shooting eastward. See how these storms really blossom as they get north and west of Little Rock. A couple of these could become supercell thunderstorms, at least initially. So this is going to be the time frame to watch out for, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening as the line starts to initialize back out to the west. And as it moves farther to the east, it becomes more of a squall line. That squall line will have these little kinks and bows along it. When you see a kink right here near Jonesboro, right here, right along I-40, another one down here south of Little Rock, south of Pine Bluff. Those little kinks is where you can see the brief spin up tornado potential, okay? But these little bowing segments, you see one going through Jonesboro, one north of Jonesboro, one up closer to Cape Girardeau. That's where you can see the straight line winds. And in this type of situation, straight line winds have a tendency to be a little bit more widespread than the little tiny tornado that could roll through an area. But at any rate, you need to be prepared for both of them. The time frame of that, again, we're opening it up. It's a kind of a wide berth right now, be between about 4 p.m. and about midnight, because the line will quickly move off to the east and should exit the area by the time we head towards midnight. And you do notice some blue back out here to the north and west. It would not be surprising, as the cold air is still working its way into the area. There's some lingering moisture behind this. As the front works its way off to the east, we might be able to eke out a flurry or two. That's not something that's going to accumulate, but don't be surprised that you wake up early on Monday morning, you're like, some snowflakes are flying. Nothing that it's going to accumulate, though, as we drop down to about 32 degrees. 42 as we head through your Monday. It will be a cold, blustery day as that push of wintry air comes direct out of Canada. It's like they open up the back door for us. And, of course, not only 42 on Monday, but 48 on Tuesday. 26 when you wake up early on Tuesday morning. And my gardeners, I want you to start thinking about covering up or bringing in your plants before that, because of the hard freeze that we expect across across the entire Action News 5 coverage area, anywhere from about 23 to 29 degrees to wake up early on Tuesday morning. So be prepared for the cold that'll be pushing into the area. The good news is that the extended forecast does have a trend of warmer. To the low 60s we go on Wednesday, Thursday up to 72. Upper 70s the first day of spring on Friday, near 80 degrees the first weekend of spring. Not bad, but we need you to be weather aware and attuned to the situation late Sunday as that system works its way through the region. Again, the main time frame for the strong winds would likely be just after 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. The severe weather potential increases after 4 o'clock in the afternoon through about midnight early Monday morning.
All right, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. We got Action News 5 Midday with Jerry Askin coming up at the top of the hour. He'll take you through your top stories, your forecast, and all of your headlines. And then join us once again Monday morning at 9 o'clock, another edition of the Action News 5.